Hello my dear viewers, welcome to Simplified Civil and Geotechnical Engineering channel. I am Akshay Jaiswal. Today in this video I am going to explain about flow diagram of water treatment plant and demands of water. So let's start the video.
Functions of parts of water supply project. First point is intake well. The main function of intake well is to collect the water from surface source and convey it to treatment plant. Second point is jack well. The jack well is situated on the bank of source and the main function is to receive the water from intake well and discharge to the treatment plant. Third point is aeration unit. It is the physical process which works on the principle of gas exchange by increasing the water area in contact with atmospheric air either by spray or by keeping the surface of liquid constantly agitated so as to reduce the thickness of liquid and it enable it to come in contact with atmospheric air. Our next point is flash mixer. The main function of flash mixer is the solution of coagulants is mixed thoroughly in the water by means of fan operated by electric motor. Next point is clariflocculator. This helps in forming a big size flock and increases the efficiency of sedimentation. Next is filter unit to filter the water. And next point is elevated service reservoir to supply the water under gravity. They also supply water during emergency.
Flow diagram of water treatment plant. Water from the source is screened. Floating matters such as leaves, dead animals, etc. are removed by screening. Suspended impurities such as sand, silt and clay etc. are removed by plain sedimentation. Fine suspended matters are removed by sedimentation with coagulation. Microorganisms and colloidal matters are removed by filtration. Pathogenic bacteria are removed by disinfection. Dissolved gases, odors, taste are removed by aeration and chemical treatment. The water is stored in reservoir from where it is supplied to consumer by distribution system. Components and functions of a treatment plant. A typical complete water treatment plant consists of the following. First one is intake works including pumping plant. The water is drawn from the source and the process of screening is done to exclude floating matters. Second is aerator. The water is treated by exposing it to the atmospheric air to eliminate gases such as carbon dioxide, hydrogen sulfide and minerals such as iron. Third, plain sedimentation tank. Impurities such as silt, clay and sand are removed by the process of sedimentation. Fourth one is clariflocculator. Fine suspended particles and some bacteria are removed by the process of coagulation in the clariflocculator. Fifth one is filter bed. Very fine particles and colloidal matter which have escaped extraction in the sedimentation tank are removed by filtration. Next is disinfection. The bacteria that still remain in water after the above treatment works are reduced to a safe minimum limit by the process of disinfection. Then next component is pure water storage reservoir. Next step is pumping plant for pumping pure water to overhead reservoir. And last one is distribution system. The water from the overhead reservoir is distributed to consumers by pipes. This figure shows water supply scheme with rapid sand filter. Next point is demands of water. The water is the principal raw material for food production and for many other uses outside the home and on the farm. In addition to the direct consumption of water at homes and farms, there are many indirect ways in which water affects our daily life. The use of water by plants, animals, and us is universal. It plays an important role in manufacture of essential commodities, generation of electric power, recreation and transportation, and industrial activities. Thus, the water can be considered as most important raw material of civilization because of the fact that without water man cannot live and industry cannot operate. Hence, it is necessary to calculate the various demands of water. Our next point is domestic demand. According to IS 1172-1983, the minimum requirement of water for domestic consumption is 135 liters. This includes water required for domestic purpose such as drinking, bathing, lawn sprinkling, sanitary purposes, and air conditioning, etc. The total domestic demand amounts to approximately 50% of total water demand. The breakup of 135 liters per capita per day may approximately be taken as follows, which is given in following table. Here, meaning of per capita per day means amount of water required per person per day. Now let's see consumption per capita per day from following table. For bathing, 55 liters are required for per person. Next one is for flushing of latrines, 30 liters are required. Next one is washing of clothes, 20 liters are required. Next one is washing of utensils, 10 liters are required. For washing and cleaning of house, 10 liters are required. For cooking, 5 liters are required. And for drinking, 5 liters are required per person per day. Addition of all these requirement of water is 135 liters per day per person. Our next heading is public and industrial needs. First we will discuss about public needs. First point is quantity of water required for public utility purposes such as washing and sprinkling on road, cleaning of sewers, watering of public parks, gardens, public fountains, swimming pools, etc. come under the public demand. Second point is to meet the water demands for public use, provision of 5% of the total consumption is made while designing the water works for a city. The requirements of water for public purposes shall be taken as given in table. Here, purpose and water requirement is given in the following table. This public needs includes water for public parks, street washing, sewer cleaning, and roadside trees. Our next point is industrial needs. For small industrial needs within the town, the water required is included in the per capita rate itself. Large industries may use their own source of water. Second point, however, if water is required from the public water supply, then water requirement depends on the type and size of industry. Next point, the requirement also depends on the factors such as the cost of water and availability of water. Point 4. Hence, the demand of each industry has to be examined individually. However, it accounts 10 to 20% of total demand for fully developed city depending upon the intensity of industrialization. The water requirements for few industries are given below in the table. Table shows us industry, its production unit and consumption in kiloliter per production unit. Some industries such as automobile, fertilizer, paper, sugar and textile are given in this table. and their consumption in kiloliter per production unit are given. Our next point is losses and wastage. The water which goes in the distribution pipes does not reach up to the consumers fully. Some part of this quantity is wasted in the pipelines due to defective pipe joints, cracked and broken pipes, and faulty fittings and valves. Also, sometimes consumers keep their taps or public taps open when they are not used and allow continuous wastage of water. Loss of water in a waterworks is due to unauthorized water connection, motor and pump slippage, bad plumbing, and leakages. Point number 4. The loss due to unauthorized connection may be reduced by surveying the areas and detecting them. Even in fully metered system, the loss of water sometimes is of the order 20 to 30%. Wastage can also be caused by the householder who throws away the stored water and collects the fresh water when it is released. Allowance for these losses and wastage should also be done while estimating the total requirement of water of a town. Generally, 15% of total quantity of water is allowed to compensate for losses, thefts, and wastage of water. Next point is fire demand. The quantity of water required for firefighting purpose should be easily available and always kept stored in the storage reservoir. Second point, fire demand is very large and quantity of water has to be supplied immediately to fire spot. The Manual on Water Supply and Treatment published by the Government of India recommended the provision of quantity of water for fire demands in kiloliters per day by the use of the formula under root 100p, where p is population in 1000. This formula is to be adopted for the communities with population larger than 50,000. Some empirical formulae have also been given by various scientists for calculating the fire demand. For population of 1 lakh, the per capita demand would be 10 liter per capita per day. About 1/3 of the quantity required for fire needs is to be kept in service reservoir, that is, the reservoir from where the water is distributed to the town, and the remaining water is stored in the several tanks provided at the important places. These tanks are filled up by the tankers fetching the water from nearby ponds, canals, or streams. The minimum pressure required at the fire hydrants should be of order 1 to 1/5 kg per centimeter square. A moderate fire allowance of 0.9 to 1.4 liter per capita per day is made in India. Our next heading is commercial and institutional demand. It includes water demand for offices, shopping centers, hotels, cinema halls, schools, colleges, hostels, hospitals, railway and bus stations, and various industries. As per IS 1172-1983, water requirements for buildings other than residences are given in the table. Table shows approximate consumption may be taken as 40 to 45 liter per capita per day. The following table shows water requirements of building other than residences. Table shows classification of building and water requirement in liter per day. Buildings such as hospitals, nurse and doctor's quarter, hotels, restaurant, schools, hostels, offices, theaters, and factories in general are given, and their water requirement in liter per day are given. Hope you like the information given in this video. If you are watching my channel for first time, then click on subscribe and share with all your friends. Thanks for watching. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.